Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachach Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, a great millstone, and shalom to the elect. That's what these lessons are for. Alright, brothers, this is a short lesson, and I have an article pulled up here that's from June 3rd, 2022, the year of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, turning things up, and it reads, Israel warns over Iran nuclear program. And right here you have an image. It says file. An Israeli technician checks an Air Force fighter jet during the biannual multinational aerial exercise known as the Blue Flag at Avda Air Base near Elalat, southern Israel. And that was October 21st, 2021. Okay. Now, it reads, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, which Naphtali is one of the tribes of the nation of Israel, the people of Argentina, all right, tribe of Naphtali, so on and so forth down there, that southern region of South America, right, on the coast of the sea, all right. Those are the true people of Naphtali, all right. When you go into the 12 tribe sign, you read it, which the word Naphtali is from the Hebrew word Naphtaliah, which means my wrestling, all right. So it says Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, which he's a small hat, okay, warned the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency Friday that Israel was prepared to use its right to self-defense to stop Iran's nuclear program, which we know that Israel is, first of all, it's not their land. Is the land of the true children of Israel, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But the people that are in the land of Israel now, we know that their greatest ally is America. Okay, they receive a lot of aid from America. So Israel is kind of like a welfare state. Okay. Speaking of welfare, you ever go down to get welfare or something like that, you'd see a bunch of small hats on the lines, okay? Says the comments came after IAEA chief Rafael Grossi met Bennett Friday morning during a whirlwind visit. Bennett's warning is a reiteration of Israeli vows to do whatever it takes to stop Iran from obtaining a nuclear bomb. Well, guess what? They're not going to stop that. All right, they're not going to stop that. Shit, we believe that Iran already has obtained nuclear missiles, man. All right. First of all, Iran is a great ally of Russia, which, as we know, when you go into the scriptures in Ezekiel the 38th chapter, scriptures tell you that Russia is going to be a guard unto these smaller nations that are allied with Russia. Okay. Russia has a lot of interest in Iran. They have business that they're conducting with Iran. And, Iran definitely has, nuclear capabilities, according to my estimation, according to the prophecies, so on and so forth. All right. This thing will happen. All right. And Iran will be one of the major players in, this nuclear war. It says it comes with tensions rising over stalled efforts to revive a 2015 nuclear deal between Iran and world powers amid preventing Iran from developing such a weapon. So here it is. This is hypocrisy, right? Because here it is. They have the nuclear missile, but they don't want another nation to have the nuclear missile. So they're saying, oh, we can defend ourselves, but if push comes to shove, you can't defend yourself. Bennett said in a statement that he has made it clear that Israel prefers diplomacy, all right, but quote, it reserves the right to self-defense and to action against Iran in order to block its nuclear program should the international community not succeed in the relevant time frame. All right, in the relevant time frame. It says Grossi's visit came after the global nuclear watchdog on Monday said it still had questions which were not clarified, despite long-running efforts to get Iran to explain the presence of nuclear material at 3 undeclared sites. So see what they do is they send their spies over there. All that stuff about spies, espionage, like a 007 type of missions and whatnot. The U.S. and Israel, they definitely send spies over there. All right. The U.S. has the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, and Israel has the Mossad. All right. And they are like the like I said, the branch of the CIA in Israel, and they definitely send spies over there. They actually, you can go back years ago, they were actually assassinating nuclear scientists, but they're not going to succeed in their endeavors, because it's prophecy. It's prophecy that nuclear war will happen. All right. It says here, the issue. Did I read this? Yep. The issue of the sites is one of the remaining obstacles to reviving the 2015 deal, which gave Iran relief from crippling economic sanctions in exchange for curbs on its nuclear activities. So in other words, if they don't want to play ball as far as not going ahead with the nuclear, their nuclear proliferation, okay, they put sanctions on them. That's how America plays. All right, which I'm not gonna read this whole article. I'll put the rest of it up there for you brothers to read it in the comment box or the description box, Salakia. And there's gonna get one scripture right fast. This is the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, and the 29th verse. It reads, "Rejoice not thou, whole Palestina." Now, Palestina or Palestine is another name for Israel. All right. It says, "Because the rod of him that smote thee is broken, for out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent." Now, when you look up, let's look up serpent's root. Let's look that up right fast. Boom. Now this is a serpent's root. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Or black salsify. Okay. Also known as the serpent root, which is an herb. Okay. So what's that talking about? It's obviously not talking about an herb. Okay. It's going into the nuclear missile. All right. Now let me find a proper picture here. Bear with me for one moment. Let me find a proper picture. Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'll do. Boom. Let's go here. Let's go to nuclear. Let's do nuclear silo. All right. Now, what you're looking at right here is a nuclear missile in a silo. Okay. Now, what the prophet Isaiah did was made a comparison to the serpent's root. Here it is. This is look like a scallion, but it's the same principle. All right. You have a root that's in the ground. All right. So when he said out of the serpent's root is going into an herb that was in the ground, similar to how this nuclear missile is in the ground. Okay, let's see if we can get it from a different angle, if that's at all possible. Okay. You see how this missile is in the ground, and this root is in the ground as well. Okay, but out of that root comes forth, an herb. Okay. Now, what comes out of the nuclear silo? The nuclear missile. So when he said, out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, which a cockatrice is a serpent. Let's look up this word cockatrice. Poisonous serpent, a viper, snake, or adder. All right. So when the prophet Isaiah was, seeing this vision, that's what he was describing. He was describing the nuclear missile coming out of the silo, okay, and being shot to its destination. All right, let's see this. Let's look this up. Nuclear missile. This is what he saw. All right. This is why he described it as a fiery flying serpent. All right. So it was in the nuclear silo, similar to how the serpent's root is in the ground, and then it was shot out of the nuclear silo. And what he was seeing in the vision was the fire coming from the missiles. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is not the only prophet that described this like that. All right. When you go to Revelation, the 9th chapter. So let me go to Revelation 9 right fast, and then I'll go back there. Let me see. Should be somewhere here. Bear with me for one moment. Bear with me for one moment. It's somewhere here. I haven't read it in a little while, but it should be somewhere here. Somewhere here. There we go. This is Revelation 9 and 19. It says, "For their power is in their mouth." So, this is John the Revelator, by the way. What he was describing was a nuclear missile, but he was describing the warhead. Okay, because in the warhead is where the nuclear missile does the damage. You see, this right here, this fire coming right here. This is just, this is just to boost the nuclear missile or to get it to its destination. All right. But in the warhead is where the damage is, man. Okay. So what he said here, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails. Right? Because why? Because they had fire coming out of the back of the nuclear missile. So he saw that, and he also saw the destruction come from the nuclear how you call them, warheads. Okay, so he saw the nuclear warheads doing damage, and he saw the fire coming out of the missiles, the back of the missiles. Okay, so it says, "For their tails were like unto serpents." Okay, and they had heads, warheads, and with them they do hurt. Okay, mind you, this is way back when. Okay, this was during the times of antiquity. They didn't have cars and stuff like that. So he described it as the things that were relevant to that time. So he said, "For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents." And this is talking about the smoke also that came out of the back of the missile. It says, and with them, Salakia, and they had heads, and with them they do hurt. You see what I'm saying? So it's going into the warheads. Okay? Now let's see if I can find an image, of okay, so you see the smoke. You see the smoke coming out of the back of this nuclear missile, how it's kind of going this way and that way, similar to a snake's body. Okay? This is what he was describing. Okay? Because he saw it in the vision, but he didn't know how to explain it. This is why Apostle Tahar say that we are deeper than the ancient prophets, because now we can explain these things unto you. We're making it plain upon tables. Alright? So now, let's go back. Let's read it again. Isaiah 14:29. Rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent. This is describing the nuclear missile coming out of the nuclear silo. Okay? And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. So this is going into the elect. It reads, and I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina, thou art dissolved, for there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed time. So that time is coming where the land of Israel will be nuked by missiles. Okay? They will be nuked by missiles. So instead of them trying to bully Iran, they should get themselves together. Okay? Which is what's happening right now. We're living in a time of war. And that's why the Spirit got these scriptures coming out, man. It reads, what shall one then answer the messengers of the nations? That the Lord has founded Zion. You see that? The Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, has founded Zion, which the word Zion is the Hebrew to Zion, which means monument. And the poor of his people shall trust in it, man. Okay? So that's talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, specifically the elect. And that time is coming where we're going to lie down in safety. Alright? Hey, so Lord will, this lesson was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the elect.